welcome back. And of course, as we promised, we are joined on set by Mayor-elect for Belize City, Bernard Wagner, and Councillor-elect Oscar Arnold. We'll be moving into the conversation. There's quite a bit to share this morning, but we're going to step back to part of where it started, and I'm sure that it's what you'll credit to your success, your campaign trail. So we'll take a look back on the campaign trail with the PUP Belize City slate, and that's what we'll go to now.
Butterflies? Not for the underdog PUP Belize City 11. This afternoon, they were on familiar territory, and among friends in the Port Loyola division, one of the acknowledged battlegrounds for next Wednesday's election. With a week to go, mayoral candidate Bernard Wagner and councillor candidate Michael Morales, plus the rest of the team, are bearing down.
When you see this crowd here, the greeting I receive, we have been building momentum. Enthusiasm is on a high note, and we feel that come the next 6 days, we will be in the right place at the right time to spell victory come March 7th.
It's very exciting whenever you speak to the people, especially when they invite you into their homes or when they stop you on the streets. They are the persons who are coming to you and suggesting ways of changing the whole dynamic of politics in Belize. Now, I agree it's only Belize City Council, we like to say that, not Belize City Council. But this election is very important, and the persons who are going to elect us to office come March 7th, they are very excited because they invite us, they talk to us. Yes, of course, we stop a few, but they express their dissatisfaction a lot.
The team of councillors and campaigners canvassed the area immediately north of Farber's Road extension, which is undergoing an $8 million improvement courtesy of the government. But just a heartbeat away sits Custard Apple Street, which has 2 lakes that are certainly in contention for biggest pothole in the old capital. No good reflection on the current administrations in Belmopan or Belize City, according to standard bearer Gilroy Usher Sr.
The terrible condition of this street is just a stone throw away from Mr. Martinez's office, and that just shows a lack of concern that he has for the residents of Port Loyola. And when it's not the rainy season, when it's mucky like this, then you have it's very dusty with a lot of large holes when the water have dried out. So it's like if you're riding a young horse when you pass through here. As a matter of fact, some taxi operators don't want to come through here because the street is so bad.
The final sprint to March 7th will see the PUP team try its best to reach as many residents as they can. But just in case they don't make it to your house, here's a message from the man who would be the next mayor of Belize City.
People want accountability, transparency, and good governance, and that is the whole benchmark of our manifesto. That will serve as the overarching the structure right there at the top of our manifesto that deals with good governance. We also have social infrastructure there. People are concerned about their social living. People want to know that they have a city council who cares, and that is what that forms another part of our manifesto. Social infrastructure, physical infrastructure, revenue generation, and jobs creation. The residents of Port Loyola and this city needs to see through this, that corruption continues, was happening back then, it is happening now, and if they allow them to win this election, it will continue. It's time for change.
Aaron Humes reporting for News 5.
And welcome back, and we are moving now into our conversation. It's the morning after, and we have with us the Belize City Mayor-elect Bernard Wagner on set and Councillor-elect Oscar Arnold. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming, because I know you're exhausted. But most importantly, congratulations as well.
Thank you, Marlene, and thank you, Belize.
Yes. So I just want the initial reaction to the results as they were coming in last night. Tell me about it.
Marlene, you have to excuse me for my voice,
yeah.
Clearly. We had a very long night last night. I certainly want to thank God as always. Mm-hmm. Without him, nothing would have been possible. Mm-hmm. I want to thank my family for being there with us all the way. And I certainly have to thank the PUP supporters, right, the residents of the city, our party machinery, the party executive, the party steering committee. All of these parts were critical in our success in Belize City. And I'm just elated. I still haven't. Someone told me this morning, I said, why are you always so cool and not even like, he said that I don't think you have grasped that you are the mayor, and I'm just like, I still haven't grasped it as yet. Yeah. But certainly it's been a long road coming, and I feel that the road ahead is where it is, and we have to look at the challenges that we face as an opportunity to continue to serve our city and serve it well.
Yeah. And for you, Oscar?
The same thing with Bernard. There's been a lot of sacrifice that has happened over the past few months. Our families, our friends, but it has to be given to the Almighty. Before yesterday started, which was pretty early, I made a pledge to myself that we've done our work, we've been with the people, we had the better team, and now it's up to God and up to the voters. So yesterday was pretty grueling. I took some time out after when the polls were closed, and we wrapped up all the other ancillary things that's around the campaign. And I took some time out and I went home to greet my family. I knew that it would be a constituency by constituency. Yeah. So I knew we were in for a long night. But I have to be thankful. We have to thank the voters. A lot of people voted across party lines, which is something that we expected. It's something that was being said to us on the campaign trail. And it's something that we will have to remember. It's a responsibility now that we will have to remember that people voted across party line because they saw what they saw in this team.
Now, I want to ask, obviously, as the day unfolded and during our broadcast, we kept talking about the slow trickle of people coming into the polls. And the total voter turnout for the country was 57%, but in Belize it was 50%. Tell us about how effective you feel your machinery was in getting out your voters. And do you account it to the campaign process, or was it those people who simply never disclosed anything to you that you think gave you that support?
No, I thought that our machinery was really focused. We had a plan, right? We stick with the plan, and we ensured that throughout the day that we never deviated from the plan and the strategy that we had devised, and that our steering committee has devised for us. We felt that the bursts early in the morning always happen, and you want to ensure that you have you want to show strength in numbers as in the early part of the morning, and as the day progresses, you want to begin to move your people and move them with a focus and with a clear purpose. And I felt that throughout the day, our machinery demonstrated that, and that is why at the end of the day, victory came for us.
I'm the chairman for the Albert constituency for the PUP, and early on the morning, it didn't look too good for us because all the campaign workers were just lined up to vote, and if you drove past, you'd have said, wow, well, UDP is going to win this area handily. But we sent out our campaigners to get that first rush of people while they were standing up in lines. And while I was in the area on the ground greeting, we started getting people coming in on their own, and I'm saying, okay, but our campaigners are not, we haven't brought in that first wave yet. And we have people coming in, voting on their own. My conversation with them, I realized that we were getting their support. So these were the people that were coming out on their own. And then what our campaigners and the people that our campaigners were bringing in would then narrow that margin that they had early on. And so I felt confident. And then the dynamics changed at around 11 again. So it was just an up and down, but we stood strong and we held the faith.
Yeah, we certainly did.
Now, you have definitely spoken about working with the area representatives in each individual constituency. How much do you feel that their support was what put you over the mark to be able to gain the city?
It was huge, Marlene. It was huge from the outset, and despite negative feedback we had early in the week about one of our in the Karim Musa matter there, that was dispelled. That was dispelled yesterday. It was dispelled because we knew where we stood with all the area reps, and we knew that the area reps supported us. We knew that our party was united, but all the distraction out there was just noise, fake news, and so we stick with the guns, and we knew that our area reps were working the system for us, and were putting us in a position to be successful. And I must say, I must give kudos again to the architect of this team, which clearly is Mr. Cordell Hyde. He put this team together, but he did it with the help of Karim Musa. He did it with the help of Francis Fonseca, right? He did it with the help of Anthony Mala in the Pickstock division, Paul Thompson in Albert division, and Gilroy Usher in the Port Loyola division. Marshall Nunes working in the Colette area. Gary Ayuso working in the Mesop area, and Mr. Robinson in the Queen Square. So it was a collective approach, all hands on board, and everybody working for a common purpose.
When we were campaigning, these area reps were walking the campaign trail with us, to the point where I had a discussion last night when we were waiting on the official results out at IT Vet, and I said, you know, our synergy in our team spread, and it caught on. And the area reps and their committees saw that if the campaigners don't want to go work today, we 11 of us still going. And so Karim Musa told me that made us want to work, that made us want to fight. Said Musa at his age walked every street in Fort George for us. It's huge. Francis Fonseca was with us in Belama, walking Belama with us. That was huge. All the areas where there was supposed to be factions came in huge. And we knew that Lakei would put us over the hump.
Yeah. Well, Lakei definitely came out, also Pickstock as well.
Yes.
And I want to talk about that because it's no secret that you had a strategy to attack aggressively the south side.
Sure.
You knew that's where your biggest challenge was.
We did most of our work in Port early on.
Yes.
All 11 of us.
Yes. Now, what do you think was able to convince voters to come out and vote PUP?
Marlene, the freshness of the team. This team represented change, right? And represented a renewal, so to speak, right? A fresh start for the city. And I felt that resonated well with the city residents. They wanted something new, and our team represented it. Our team represented it, and we felt that at the end of the day, we as a group.
Yes.
You cut the middleman.
Yes. What?
Yeah, we as a group came through, and I continue to say with my team, Marlene, that last night during the counting, I always felt that nobody could be in their corner more than me. I wanted my entire team to come out because earlier in the week we heard this narrative about being a split council, and I was the only one saying that no, this will not be no split council. This will be a solid group, and I rooted for my team, Marlene. I felt that I wanted my full team to come in, and you know why? Because all of them worked hard, and I would have felt not fulfilled if all of them didn't come in, and that's where I stand.
Yeah, no, it was a huge thing, and along the way, all of us had our ups and downs, but there was always a colleague there to pick us up that we could lean on, and that was huge. We knew that this narrative about the split was a best case scenario for the other side.
Yes.
I knew 3 weeks ago that our mayoral candidate would have won. It would have just been about the numbers. I was a bit worried about the split because that was the narrative that was being pushed, and I know at some point some people might say, hey, you know what, maybe it's not a bad idea. but we wanted our entire team. We would have felt a little bit lacking if one or the other wasn't there because we complement each other so well. That was one of the things from the onset that was important. And I think in the days when we had at our lowest, that was able to pull us through.
Right. And we've been joined at this time by Councillor candidate Allan Pollard Jr. And we want to say good morning. We know everybody had a late night, so like I said, I appreciate that you're able to make it. But going back to the Southside issue, I think, you know, as the boxes were coming in, you heard Freetown. I think there were expectations that Freetown was going to be in your favor. What was the particular moment that you started to think, we have this, we definitely have this?
I would say when I was in the pick stock room, and we are winning like 4 out of the 5 boxes in there, and then the Port Loyola room, we were doing good. We already knew that Lake I was giving us some big advantage in that area, and we heard that Freetown had given us a big gap also, and then I begin to say that, hey, we're on our way. Victory is on its way.
When when we broke it down, we knew Port Loyola was going to be key. We all had our hearts and minds. If Port goes down for us, we were going to be in trouble. For me, it changed when I saw the numbers in mess up, because this has been a bastion of UDP dominance for almost 30 years. On nomination day, when the Honorable Michael Filligan said, well, I think someone posed a question to him, man, you're the outer, you say, no, I run again. And he said, well, I came to rescue my party. That for me resonated, and I said, you know what? We've turned the corner, and they're trying to catch up now. And even if we don't win mess up, I know in my heart of heart that we really put a dent in what they consider to be a bastion of UDP power.
Go ahead.
For me, it was being in the Albert room, you know, and when I think somebody was counting and just looked at me and with their eyes wide and said, like, this is the best we've seen in Albert in quite some time, and I knew that the other eras will put us off the edge, you know, Pickstock being one of them. Was in Port Room and seeing that we were not doing too bad at all. So at that time I knew that, all right, this is very tight, and we could have a possibility to win.
Now, gentlemen, let me ask you what I think is one of the burning questions on my mind. There were a lot of issues in Belize City specifically going into this election. We saw protests at the end of last week right up onto Elections Eve. We had children who were victims of gun violence. We had the absolutely heinous murder of Alyssa Nunez. And these issues, I kept on saying I wasn't quite sure people would be able to shut them off on election day. How much do you feel that the frustration, and these are national issues when we're talking about crime and violence, how much do you feel these issues played in your favor on election day?
Well, clearly, these issues had some impact, obviously, particularly the crime. We've been speaking about crime for so long that our municipal body seems disconnected with the fight against crime, that they seem disconnected and feel that the city council is only about fixing streets and dealing with traffic and dealing with sanitation. But I was always telling my team that as a municipal body, the 21st municipal body has more to offer to its residents. It cannot be just about the basics, but it has to do with caring, right? Caring about your people, caring about their pain, and when they cry, you cry. And I felt that the three particular incidents that happened last week further magnify the decay of our society And I felt that it played a huge role in voter. We saw they tried to use it against us also, that to stop people to come out to vote. So I felt again, when I saw that, I felt that again the UDP were trying to distract, they distract people, sending out that type of messaging.
You know, firstly, I've got to say congratulations to all three of you, and then again to the entire slate for the victory yesterday. And of course, I apologize for my just being here. One of the things, and listening to all the reports yesterday, we were always talking about voter turnout and why people are not coming out. And for a lot of people, it becomes, I would want to say, arrogance to politics, not necessarily ignorance, because we do listen a lot. Yeah. And you know, my thing, especially when it comes to from the younger people who we want to eventually grow up, we want to breed these people to grow up to accept and appreciate the democratic process of our country, something that we're not seeing. Yeah. And it all stems because of not the ignorance, but the arrogance of politics. And I want to throw it out, and I'll throw it out here. How much of your winnings, and then again, you guys being in control of Belize City, especially at the City Council, will politics play in terms of the role? What role do you think politics will play in this? And I'm saying this because this, I think, is what's smoking out the younger people. So how are you going to deal with this? Yeah, again, we live in a real world, and politics will always have its tentacles in certain areas. But our win last night, again, is a win for the city. And I want to take this opportunity to reassure our city residents and reassure all employees of our city that our council is about business and is about producing. We are not about looking to create more problems in the city council where you are laying off workers. We will be a city council for the city residents, be it blue, be it red. We are colorblind to that, and that is the kind of council we want to engage.
I think the fatigue that people have, which is what John is talking about, is definitely evident. And we cannot be naive and sit here and say you don't have a challenge ahead of you. The very same issues I mentioned are in fact not your responsibility, but impact the municipality and the residents here. So I really feel they cannot be separated. If I'm worried about security, I can't think about drains.
Exactly.
How will you work? What is your plan to be able to bridge the divide between the very divisive party politics within the city? You have the area representatives that are predominantly of the United Democratic Party, and of course you're working under a central government that is of the United Democratic Party. What is your strategy to bridge this divide?
Again, it has to be an approach where you are empathetic to both sides' concerns, obviously. You have to be able to get in a room and you got to be able to work out deals for the residents of Belize City. I believe that it's a great opportunity that we have a PUP City Council in place and a UDP central government. It gives us an opportunity to forge a new way forward, right? A new beginning for the people of Belize, where there is this non-partisan approach, but rather an approach where we bring people together, an approach where we unite rather than divide. And I feel that our council is poised to achieve this. And with the cooperation of central government, I'm certain the central government don't want to further deteriorate their presence in the city. And I'm certain they will look hard at the mirror after last night and today, obviously, and try to meet us halfway and work for the better of Belize City.
On the campaign trail, we met a lot of people, and I said it earlier in my opening statement. A lot of people yesterday voted across party lines. We all have friends that are on either side of the fence. And we met a lot of people in the different constituencies. And the one thing they said, don't be like them. When you get in, don't be like them. So yesterday, while we were celebrating with a few of our people out at the IT vet, one person said to me, boy, we win, we do it. I said, yes, but now we have a greater responsibility because we have to rise above what has been the petty politics. We've somehow became the poster people for that sort of thing because we've told people. A lot of us came from professions that we had before entering into politics. We are learning to be politicians, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing or it doesn't have to be an evil thing. It is what we make it, and we won't let it define us, but we will rewrite the definition of what a politician working for people and working for the 80,000 residents of Belize City. And a lot of people have told us, we know where to find you and we will come to City Hall and we will remind you. And we've told them, listen, we're not perfect. Only God is perfection. Tell us. Let us know. And we will be walking our areas because that is one of the things that Mayor-elect Bernard has said to us. We will stay in touch with the people because they give us our marching orders.
Definitely.
I think part of me being here and other people like bright minds like Miss Candy Spitz, bright minds like Micah, and young minds too. I think part of it, this platform we could use as an influence for, other people wanting to be a part of it, right? So just bringing a new style to the political game. I think that we, going forward, working in City Hall, and the way people see us coordinating together and, the different events and the different innovative ideas we have, I think that in itself could put, that the salt we have for politics, the way we look at it now. And I think more young people want to be involved. More people that were frustrated, because maybe the party disappointment, it could be PUP or UDP. And I know with Mr. Bernard Wagner and, the drive that he has, more people will want to be involved in what we have here and want to support. As a young person yourself, there are mixed reviews, and we'll see the data later on in terms of how interested young people were in participating in this process. Why was it you tell us about your experience specifically as a young man in Belize City. Well, the experience from start to end was quite an experience. It's the first time being actually involved in politics, it's my first time voting. That must be an interesting experience. First vote for me. So that in itself, seeing people being in the room, over there hearing solid blue, over here solid red, and having all these thoughts at the same time, like, boy, I could win. And then I hear a solid red and be like, boy, I think we lose. So
one spell he was on nerves. He was like, he said, boss, he said, I don't know how you do it, how you so cool. He and Candice couldn't, like, man. I couldn't keep it together, and it showed on my face, But we worked hard, and the hard work that we put in on the campaign trail, I knew that could put us off the edge. And I knew people believed in us. People like say, Belizeans will tell you anything, but you could tell when people to be real. You saw the genuine, the authenticity.
But one of the things, another thing that is a damper for Belizeans on a whole, because let's face the fact that as much as Belize City is for Belize City residents, Belize City is actually for the entire country. Sure. It is the economic hub. This is where a lot of people venture after to eventually try and provide for their families. And we do use the infrastructure that is out there. One of the things that I'd like to know, and especially when it comes to politicians, being from one side and another side, and that's the thing that gets me a lot. We tend to, because we're a different party, what we do is that we don't use some of the good things from that manifesto. We actually go and roll out what we've got. Will this be the same for you? And Darrell Bradley actually set for a lot of people that leadership caliber, leadership precedence for Belize City in terms of what he has done within the past 6 months. Are there a few things that he have done or he has been doing or rolling out that you guys think that is a very good idea for Belize City and you will eventually continue on with it?
Yeah, well, obviously, the infrastructure that Darrell Bradley spearheaded and worked well for Belize City. The only issue we had was that the tendering of the contracts. We would have wanted more transparency there. The quality of the work, we would have wanted to see it more long-lasting. That has clearly not has happened. But
Wastage.
and the wastage in the contract. But we feel that that aside, he did some things good, and certainly we don't look at it like we're going in there to change anything. We certainly want to enhance what he has done in terms of enhancing the drainage. We have met with a city engineer already, and he has basically tell us some of the problems that the city faces in respect to drainage. Yeah. We want to ensure that we get that done. We want to, at least the hotspot areas in respect to drainage, that clearly is a priority for us. But certainly we will continue the good work, but always with a focus on putting the people first.
Now, it was hard work for you to get to this point, but really and truly, the hard work now begins. And there are a number of things that you've laid out in your manifesto that you want to be able to tackle. Drainage is one, but also, you know, the numbers have to add up. And we are talking about a city that has substantial debt, and you need resources to be able to execute the work that you would like to do here in Belize City. Of course, you've spoken about working along with central government, but you will also have to be able to ensure that you build up your own capital.
Yeah, right.
So tell us, what is your plan? You go into office, what is the first thing you're going to do in being able to secure finances for what you need to carry out in terms of projects?
Yeah, clearly we are not sure how the finances stand, but we know the debt that is there. Going forward, I believe that the council has a strong revenue base as it is. The council generates about $24 million in revenue annually. How you allocate that tells a lot. Where you put the funds tells a lot. We have to look at how we could begin or start up the conversation again with central government on continuing decentralization some more. We got to look at revenue sharing again. And we also have to look at how do we finance or fund our capital projects. And if we have to probably refloat the bond to achieve some of our capital projects, that's one option we look at. But everything is on the table, Marlene. We can't speak from an outside right now, but certainly as we go along in our term, we'll be able to give you more details on that.
There's obviously a lot of assessment that has to be done. When we get in, we have a plan, but then you have to tweak it based on what you find. Obviously, I've seen, and me and Bernard have spoke about it, of some efficiencies that need to be implemented at the City Council because wastage doesn't help anyone. And that money or those resources can be used to augment a lot of what you want to do. Looking at the morale, looking at if we have the right people in the right places, sort of thing. So a lot of the assessment has to be done. Obviously, there's a lot of officialdom work, swearing in, getting people there, getting this. Bernard has a lot of decisions to be made there. And we also have to find out what the human capacity is like at the City Council. There's a lot of supporters. There's a lot of people that told us, you know, Mayor Bradley is not going to be here, but we're being forced, forced is the word, to wear a shirt today, but we have no. We believe in what you're saying. We believe in your message. One of the things that we've always wanted to do is to restore the dignity of workers and even of residents, because that has been stripped in many cases. So we have a huge task with us because I think mentally, city residents and voters have just been tortured over the last 12 to 14 years. And we want to mend that, we want to fix that. We want to make sure that we want to stay grounded, but at the same time, there's a lot of expectations. And we will have to go back to the come back to the residents, come back to our voters, and let them know every step of the way what is going on. Because there's huge expectations for all of us. I hear it from my family, I hear it from our supporters, I hear it from the voters, I hear it from my friends who are across the other side. But rest assured, like I said, we represent all 80,000 residents of the city. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be hard many times. But since we hit the ground last October, we've been moving from strength to strength. We've took on every challenge. When people said that, no, you're not make it, you won't do it, we believed in ourselves.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that is a huge, huge strength that we have as a team.
Now you can, go ahead.
And one thing I want to add there too, we are open back for business.
Yes.
That is key, Marlene, because the business houses, the business community feel that we've had an unfriendly city council. We want to tell the business community that we are a business-friendly council and we are open back for business. And there are a lot of things that have been going on in respect to businesses that we feel that we could alleviate and help nurture and help expand. That people want to come and do business in our city once again rather than moving out.
Just to be clear, we're making sure the manifesto is up, so we're reminding everybody of what you've committed to, of course. And I want to go back to the campaign platform because you spoke of people first. And that is, I think, you know, Oscar, you spoke about the fatigue that people have, the frustration that people have. When you get in office, you know, I think when people make a shift as they have with this particular election in Belize City, they have very high expectations. And so the demand or the eyes that will be watching to see what difference have they made within the first month, the first 2 months, the first 3 months, the pressure will be on. What do you think you can realistically deliver within that time to really put the people first as you have used as your platform?
The first thing, you have to be viewed as a city council that is more friendlier to your residents, that you are empathetic to their needs, that you are accessible to them. Many times it's a simple open door policy that people are seeking. They go to see the mayor, but the mayor locks them out. I have an open door policy. I'm there to meet and greet any person that wants to see me. Of course, some of the quick fixes we see, we got to deal with the cleanliness of our city. These can be achieved. These are easy, quick fixes. We must begin to show some level of how we keep our city clean. We have to begin to educate our people on cleanliness, keeping your area clean. And so we'll go on a campaign very early on. And let's start with the simple things, keeping our city clean, getting the yards cut, cleaning the dilapidated houses, the overgrown lots, right? But being visible and ensuring that these begin to get done. Cleaning the drains, having a robust maintenance plan with the drains, ensuring that these things are very easily done. But you have to be focused and you have to be on it. You can't let up.
You know, speaking of cleaning the city, the garbage situation has always been that one to rear its ugly head when it comes to the city council, town councils. This have always been that nobody will pick up my garbage, or you always get into conflict with the people who are actually doing it because the contracts are not being dealt with, the payments are not being made. Have you guys mapped this out? Yeah, we are aware that the sanitation contract has not been paid for close to 8 weeks. Obviously, we'll have to meet with the owners of the waste control and work out something, but clearly we want to pay our bills. We want to be a responsible city council, and by paying our bills, we are ensuring that the collection of garbage is done in an efficient manner. Another noise from the city council not too long ago was the implementation of that you must pay your land tax or your taxes, your property tax actually, before you're able to get your license or renew your license. Or is this something that you guys have been looking at as well? Because for a lot of people, it has been something that has been a damper for them. Then again, for a lot of people, they're saying, you know what, that's your right. You have to pay your taxes. Yeah. Have you guys looked at this?
Yeah, from my knowledge of it, I believe it is illegal, and if it is illegal, I believe we'll have to discontinue it. Clearly, we don't want to be acting in an illegal manner, yeah. So that certainly will be discontinued.
Part of part of the city council revenue generation is taxes, of course, and so for us, looking at more efficient ways to collect, to bring up our collection rate. It's not about forcing people to pay. It's rather maybe giving them incentives. Yeah. You know, I'm not talking about discounts a year earlier or something like that, but you know, the work that will be done. Yeah. You know, people won't mind paying their taxes if the work is being done, and the people that are carrying out the task to collect are doing it in an efficient way. I think there's no need to force anybody to pay before you get your license or pay this before, you know. So,
yeah, Marnie, coming back to what you said earlier about the pressures that will be brought to bear on us, there's a lot of fractured egos this morning. We have a lot of sitting area representatives who, for one reason or the other, will be looking for answers this morning and would want heads to roll because of what took place yesterday. I want to say to some of them, this new city council is ready to work. This is not about any party politics. This is not about anything that happened on the campaign trail, but we're ready to work because our city residents deserve it. While the task will be great, it will have to be all hands on deck. We know that their media organ has been very, very unkind, if I can use that politically correct word, to Mr. Bernard and to a lot of other of our, and that's fine. We won't be distracted. We will remain focused, but we're here to work and we're ready to work. It's the lives of individuals that we're dealing with here. There's been a lack of leadership. There's been a vacuum on the south side, especially lately with all the crime that has been taking place. Residents tell us they don't feel that it's like there's anyone standing up for them.
Definitely.
And when you have leaderless army, you have chaos. So we have to make sure that we implement and bring back and people have confidence in their leadership, because we represent them, but we also work for them. So I say that to say this, that while there's a lot of fractured egos, we don't have to look back on nothing. Yesterday is yesterday. Today is today, and we want to work for the future. And that is what we're about.
Exactly.
And we have to make sure that resonate with the residents, and we also have to make sure that any fractured egos understand that, listen, we ain't get past that. Let's work.
Now, looking at what people are demanding in the city, I think one of the things that we have to very clearly address is how transparent and involved will you be with the community in your decision-making processes. There's always a concern of nepotism or special favors. There's always a concern of decisions being made in an ad hoc manner, perhaps not consulting the relevant parties. What is your commitment in being able to work together with, whether it's a chamber, whether it's a taxi association, whether it's the bus association, to be able to find the best possible solutions? And what is your commitment to be able to ensure that there is a fair opportunity for any person who's interested in business in the city?
Okay, again, our platform, Marlene, continues to say we are all about the people, and that is what will guide us throughout our 3 years at City Hall. That will serve as our this is the over our head about the people. Any decision that we embarked on, any decision that we'll make will be about the people. We'll always have them at the center, and so we'll consult. That will be critical for our success, that we consult with our people about any undertaking, any changes, any new policy that will be implemented, we will ensure that we consult with our people. We have it right there in our in the good governance section, where in respect to budgeting, we will consult before we prepare budgets for the end of the year. We'll establish this Municipal Public Accounts Committee, which serves as a watchdog entity, a sort of oversight group that looks at contract tendering, right? It looks at ensuring that our revenues and our expenditures are being spent where we said they would be spent. They will be able to call either one of us to task, and the Public Accounts Committee will be a 6-member group which will represent only 2 of us from the City Council and 4 from civil society. So it will be an impartial body, an oversight body, a watchdog body that will serve to keep us in check. And we feel confident that we are not here. We see every day what corruption has done in the city and what it has done for the country, and we want to be no part of it. Our City Council will have a zero tolerance against corruption.
Now, let me follow up with another issue. Not every decision you make, people will like, even if you consult. Yeah, maybe you consult and perhaps what you feel is in the best interest of people is not necessarily what was suggested. One of the credit that I always give to Mayor Bradley is that he never shied away from answering tough questions. When the entire city may have been upset about something, he stood in front of the media and defended, or oftentimes said, maybe I made a bad decision. How committed are you to stand behind your decisions and continue a dialogue with the public, even if they're not particularly happy with you at the moment?
Certainly, the very nature of myself is a person of humility, a person who listens, a person who looks for the better good rather than the single good. And clearly, when those decisions are made, it will be a council decision, and I'm ready to defend any decision that we make, but it will always be a community-based decision, and what's all about the people.
Yeah. And is that the same from the councilors?
Yes.
We're getting it on camera so we can play it back later on, right?
Of course, we'll hold you to this.
I think that I've known Bernard for many years. I've known of him even longer, but what I've learned of him lately, and obviously where the leader goes, the team goes, but I've seen another side of Bernard over the last few months that has even raised the bar and raised my expectation of him as being our mayor even higher. And he doesn't run away or shrug away from the responsibilities. We come almost from the same type of corporate environment where, yes, you can second guess your decision, but you must make a decision, and you try to make the most informed decision, because then you don't have to always be then defending what you need to do. Also, sometimes it's difficult to try to please everyone. We're not here to please everyone. We're here to work, and we're here to work hard, and we're here to try to make the best decisions that we can. And our training has taught us that we will make informed decisions. At the end of the day, though, you must keep people informed.
Yes.
You must keep people informed, because if you're going to do something that affects me, affects my livelihood, affects the life of my children, then let me know. I may not agree with you, but I will have to respect you for coming to me and say, you know what, this is what has to be done.
But speaking of, you did say, that respect for everyone, that security of having to deal with their family. Today is going to be the first day in office for you guys, and coming out of an environment whereby you have to worry about your job security and listening to what another party is saying, because when we get in there, a few of you guys will be going out. Today will be your first day in. What do you have to say, especially to the employees right now of the Belize City Council, in terms of job security? And of course, people will be holding you on to this, and it's dear to me because I've been in the situation. So what do you say to these employees right now at the Belize City Council in terms of job security?
I'm excited to meet my employees. And I believe that that is shared amongst all of us here, that we are excited to meet them. We want to get to know them, right? We want to share, know what's their aspiration, what's their goals, what's their objective, what keeps them up at night. We want to integrally get to know all our employees and be able to speak with them. And I feel that employees at the council has no need to worry about their jobs. Once the job is being done in an efficient and we feel comfortable with it, there's no need to worry. We are not going in there to cut throat or get rid of anyone. No. We care about our employees. Our employees are our greatest resource, and we feel that without them, the council cannot perform.
We need to have some level of permanency within the council too, so it's not about a PUP council or UDP council, it's the Belize City Council. And I think having that permanency and having people could look forward to 10 more years of service and, you know, breaking barriers and stuff like that and meeting goals, I think that would, you know, that would be in favor of the city and the residents, you know.
John, you know my previous boss at the bank, and she has been a great mentor to me. And one of the things when it comes to that part of our work environment that she has taught me is that she has always said, I don't fire nobody, you know. The person fires themselves. We're a fair council. We're a fair team. There's work that has to be done. In some cases, at double time, at double pace. And we want to provide that direction. We want to provide that leadership. And anyone who wants to work with us, who believes and sees the leadership and wants to go along, then we're fine. If there's going to be differences of opinion where you just don't want to work with me, then let us know. And we will part ways as friends.
Now, Bernard, you have had the opportunity since the start of your campaign to really develop and perhaps refine your leadership style as a politician. And in office, that will be what sets the tone for your term in office as well, both in how you deal with your councilors and also the rest of your staff. What do you feel is the most important or will be the leadership quality that you possess that will contribute the most towards the development of Belize City?
I believe that I'm steady, right? A person with feelings for people, right? I cherish people. I care very much about people, and that in itself, along with my humility that I was brought up in a very humble home. I feel that in itself, and with the help of God, I always put God at the center, my family at the center. I feel that my steady hand and bringing these guys, because we have a lot of young energy within the group, and like just yesterday I had to like be cautioning a couple of my young bloods in the group. Keep it calm, keep it calm. It's a long day.
It's not how we start the race, it's how we finish.
It's a roller coaster day. We'll get our highs, we'll get our lows. Marlene, I would say the steady hand, comforting them, leading them, being an ear for them, and influencing them. That's key.
You know, and I want to go to Mr. Councillor Pollard at this time, and I sure want a good feeling for your councillor. Yes, elect councillor. Councillor elect. One of the things, again, because of the way how politics have evolved in our country, young people shy away from it. They've got good voices, they're smart, because young people are actually venturing out into education and they're going far, but they don't want to go into this political limelight because there is this thing called political stigma, and it really is a bad feeling. It is a trickle-down effect because they don't want their children to be known as, well, at the Pollard, he was a PUP, he's not going to get a job. As councillor-elect, in the PU, of course with the PUP, What do you say to your young brothers and sisters right now who you know for a fact have got the drive to do it but is so afraid, but you've done it?
I tell them, come see me.
Get one good team. Get one good team. Jump on one good team.
Yeah. You know, but it's been the same throughout the campaign trail. I've met so many of them, and they have the voices, they have the ideas, and some of them, it's not in the public eye, but they're doing their part. You know, so it's just for them to combine with us and, you know, work with us and work with other agents and not be afraid of any political stigma or anything like that. For me, it was about sacrifice in the beginning. I was very afraid. I won't sit here and be Mr. Confident. I was very afraid, being that I was a young entrepreneur. My business just got off the ground, just fresh out of school. So I had put a lot on the line, especially with my parents. You know, my mom not into it at all. Like, you know. And she's a very private person as well. So a lot of things could, like, you know, throw you off a bit. But I say to those people, you know, give it a chance. You know, you never know what good could come out of it.
Okay.
You could, you know, you could be here.
And we can't be remiss. I mean, we have some great members. Albert Vaughn, who is a retired public officer. Michael Chips Norales, who is another retired, who has a wealth of knowledge. Aisha Gentle, who is just a solid worker and a community organizer and a community activist. Deltrude Hilton, who is one of our stars on our slate, but one of the ladies that kind of stay not in the foreground, but I mean, she's just a wonderful lady. Drive the ambulance, that's where everybody know Deltrude from. Right, she's saved many lives. We have Javier Castellanos, who is well known. I don't think we've been to a house where people don't know Mr. Castellanos.
Gold Dust.
And they know him by nickname Gold Dust because he's an ex-police officer. Dr. Pitts, who has a very, very endearing story, right? A story that every young woman, young person, young female can look up to and use as a role model. Ryan Lee here, who our gentle giant and our teacher in Lake High, and is just wealth and knowledge, and the story where he came from. Right, great maths teacher Micah Godin, who that like the boss have to hold him back sometime, but he not just a ball of fire.
Fiery guy.
Right, we have Allan.
Micah top the polls.
We have Allan Pollard, who just smooth and fiery as well, and got for his way. Right, so we have some great women. We have some great people on our team. I just excited for work with my crew and my new family.
All right. So we spoke of the pressure from the city. There's also pressure from your party. I think definitely, and we heard from party leader last night that while he was extremely elated with Orange Walk and Corozal and what many had thought would be San Pedro at that time, he was surprised and most proud of Belize City. Tell us a bit about what the conversation has been like so far with the rest of the party in being able to secure Belize City for the People's United Party.
Well, last night when I'm party chairman, because he's always a cautious guy, right? Henry Charles, and he's waited and he didn't want to announce anything. He's telling me, you're still on the side, bro, wait. And when the final results came in, then you see who Henry Charles is. But clearly last night, the entire family was there. We felt like a family. We had Anthony Marla there. We had the PUP Secretary, Linsford Castillo, and Wendy Castillo. Both of them there. The entire group, we felt love. It's been a long time coming, you know. We haven't won for some time. And I believe you had asked me the question the other day if I felt pressured or our team felt pressured to deliver Belize City. We knew we just had to go through the process. There were all this noise in the classroom about us being late. They couldn't find candidates, but we knew that much thought was being put into developing this team, and myself becoming the mayoral candidate. I was new to this, Marlene. I never thought I would be.
Many of us.
Yeah, the first day of campaigning, I went back into my home constituents, Port Layola, and these guys could tell you I didn't know anything about campaigning. I said, what will I tell these people? Like, but just gradually evolved, Marlene. It evolved by my first interview. I was like, and then it continuously evolved, and I continue to learn, and that's good because you're never too old to learn, and I'm still learning.
For me, speaking to some of the party faithfuls and some of our executive members, I just said, let's enjoy the moment.
Yes.
We've not had this, and one of my campaigners reminded me, he said, ever since I've started voting, I've never won under the UDP. I mean, sorry, under the PUP. This is my first win.
Yeah.
And he's in his mid-20s now, late 20s. So when he started, and so even Henry Charles, I said, Henry, and say, make we just enjoy the moment because there'll be time for everything else. And we just listened, and we listened to campaigners outside, supporters outside, just cheering and wanting for the official results to come out. And all of us kind of being a little bit cautious. We knew, but we also heard what was happening in San Pedro. And we didn't want that type of scenario in Belize City. So we waited until the wee hours of the morning when the official results were given. And then we said, you know what, okay, this is it. We'll enjoy the moment because we worked hard. Campaigners sacrificed, supporters sacrificed, voters sacrificed. The leadership of the party, Johnny Bersenio, walked with us on South Side in Belize City,
many times,
walking the London bridges with us. Curdell Hyde campaigned from 8 in the morning to 8 at night at times, and still had times to find meetings. And Carrie Musa and Said Musa and Francis Fonseca, Anthony did it, Senator Paul Thompson did it, Gilroy Usher did it, Marshall Nunes.
It was definitely a united approach to the campaign. We
very
saw
united,
that, and we have not seen that in a long time for the PUP.
Right.
And I know to break a four-term drought is a significant event, especially in the old capital, where we know it is the commerce center for our city.
The great part about this women, it's our people that they were so happy. When I look at their faces outside, when I went out to the gate, our people were so happy for this win, and they haven't won for a long time, and man, that felt so good that we were able to deliver.
I have one more question before we wrap up because we're complete. Have you made your call to Mayor Kevin Bernard as yet, so you can start to strategize?
I certainly will do that as I leave the studio.
All right. Closing words, gentlemen, to city residents.
Marlene, so much, but I want to first, like I said, thank the PUP. I want to thank Deputy Party Leader Curdell Hyde for giving me the opportunity. There's so many people, but I want to, because I'm the chairman of Albert, I must thank our campaigners, our workers in Albert who stood by us. We've had some very heartbreak losses in Albert. We've had to fight some huge people in Albert, and that fight will continue, but we've narrowed the gap with the help of our campaigners, with our workers. I want to say thank you to all of my friends, all of our supporters, but mainly I just want to say thank you to Belize. We're still learning to be politicians, but you have great bankers, you have great managers, we have great teachers, we have great people that will be representing you.
All right. Allan?
I just want to thank the public for voting for us first and foremost. Friends and family that stood there, until like 2 a.m. Everybody that had played some role in having us here today. It's been amazing. It's been an amazing opportunity for me, and I know it's a privilege and an opportunity to serve and to be a part of the organization in the first place. It's an organization rich in history, and I'm open to work. I'm ready to work. Starting today. So I just want to tell the people, trust in us. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, Marlene, again, I want to thank God, man. God is at the center of everything. So, I want to certainly thank my family, those visiting from the United States, coming in to be with me. My brother, Mark, is a preacher from out of New York, and he gave me some strong blessings the other night, and he told me that I would take this one. But certainly, Marlene, the party supporters, they are the ones who win here. When the PUP win, the people win at all times.
All right. Thank you very much for being here, and congratulations once again. And one thing I can say with certainty is, as the soon-to-be city council, we will see you more on the set,
certainly.
Right? Since you said you don't shy away from the media. We're going to go ahead and take a break. When we come back, for the rest of the country, we'll be recapping the elections of municipal elections 2018. So stay tuned. We'll be back with you.